The Tommy Campbell Show. Donald Trump took over the evening airwaves for what was supposed to be a major address to the nation. Usually when a president demands a live primetime slot, it's for a declaration of war or a massive national crisis. Instead, we got a nearly 30-minute self-indulgent televised tantrum where the most powerful man wearing a diaper whined about an election he lost 6 years ago and seemed to forget he was president in 2020. It is going to be a wild and funny show today as we completely mock Trump's bizarre primetime therapy session and tear down the evidence his supporters are losing their tiny minds over. We're going to look at everyone from Markwayne Mullin to Mike Lindell in his latest car broadcast. And yes, a special guest drops by for his take on all the hilarious Mitch McConnell proof-of-life memes currently storming the internet. But first, we have to look at the absolute on-air panic from the one network that was supposed to have Donald's back.
Sean, you also heard the president make claims that electronic voting machines are vulnerable and easily compromised. Fox News has not seen that evidence yet, is not in a position to evaluate the accuracy of the president's statements and claims at this time.
Yes, Fox scrambled to speak over Donald Trump and read that disclaimer like the legal team was watching his ramble while playing whack-a-mole. If there were ever a single shred of real court-admissible evidence in Trump's dump of redacted PDFs, Rupert Murdoch would have his lawyers sprinting to the courthouse demanding his $787.5 million back. During the Dominion lawsuit, Sean Hannity admitted under oath he never believed Trump won the 2020 election. Fox isn't going to sit on ironclad proof of rigged voting systems. They'd be airing it 24/7 and parading Tucker Carlson through the streets like C-3PO in Return of the Jedi. Instead, Fox happily runs Trump's conspiracy speeches for the ratings, then interrupts them every few minutes to legally disown him before the next lawsuit lands. When your own favorite network has to treat your national address like a toxic chemical spill, the game is officially over. Now, the main networks, ABC, NBC, and CNN, saw right through the stunt and wouldn't even air it on their main channels, relegating it to their streaming apps. Oh yeah, get that CNN app. Not going to happen. Trump immediately demanded their broadcasting licenses be revoked. It is peak Trump to insist the government shut down entire media companies because they wouldn't let him interrupt America's Got Talent to explain his feelings. He told everyone to visit the White House website to read the proof, which promptly crashed because their servers apparently run on a single potato. When the PDFs finally loaded, right-wing podcasters immediately started screaming that voter registration systems are under siege. The very first bombshell is a report about Russian hackers from 2016. We're in 2026. That's like interrupting the evening news with breaking coverage that the Titanic just hit an iceberg.
We know, talking about our machines, we know for sure that our foreign adversaries, not our allies, foreign adversaries have parts that are vital pieces in our voting machines. We know that they can access what they consider the key to the back of these machines. We know that they can change voter registration and your vote. We know it's possible. There's not a question. It's not even for debate. One thing that I love about numbers and I love about facts is they don't lie. This isn't something that I'm trying to tell you to spin a narrative. This is what is going on.
Just a reminder, this is who we're dealing with. This guy saying, I love facts, while spinning a classic, thoroughly debunked Hugo Chavez Venezuela voting machine myth. Mullin is completely missing the point of how modern foreign interference actually works. If he cared about numbers and facts, he would listen to real intelligence reports showing that Russia and China don't need to spend billions of dollars trying to hack into a physical voting machine in Ohio. They just spend a few $100,000 on bot farms to make people stupider. Subscribe. Foreign adversaries don't need to flip a digital switch on a voting machine when they can just create a fake Facebook group full of bot accounts designed to make people question vaccines or fuel Alberta separatism. They don't have to hack the machines because they successfully hack the brains of those that refuse to be educated beyond a meme or an MMA fighter's podcast. But Mullin and Trump need a grand high-tech movie plot to scare their base. So they pointed to their classified PDF dump, which brings us to the next explosive national security breach in their report. 7 million voter records exposed in the state of Georgia. Now, Georgia didn't get breached by a high-tech foreign spy ring. Kennesaw State University, the school managing the database, accidentally left the server security settings open for 7 months. That is not a sophisticated cyber warfare operation. That is just a college IT department forgetting to set a password. They're trying to make it sound like a Tom Cruise film when it was actually just a guy named Braden forgetting to hit save. The core warning of the documents is that hackers can use this stolen data, like names, birth dates, and addresses, to request absentee ballots. But wait until these geniuses hear about the local library's phone book, because that is exactly what this stolen data is. Publicly available voter rolls. It is the same information that political campaigns legally buy every single year to mail you the flyers that immediately go in the trash. Trump is just copying Mike Lindell's homework here. Lindell pioneered the art of buying up public voter rolls, paid con artist Dennis Montgomery millions for formatting rolls to look like scary computer code and scream fraud, and he's still at it and loving every second of this.
I come with baggage, a guy that spent everything he has to try and save this country. You call that baggage? What, because you think I'm lying about the election fraud? That, I mean, it's just unbelievable what he's done. But let's talk about, he's chairman of the Republican. Going to be, hey, who's got the right solutions and who's got a proven track record that you can build a huge company with nothing, starting with nothing, and then protected in the biggest attack in history.
Wake-up call to the fact, too, that you're a numbers guy. And so all this fraud that's been happening inside of Minnesota, you've got an instinct for what you refer to as deviation. You know when something's rotten in Denmark. And I'm pretty confident you're going to be able to eradicate a lot of that fraud and zero in on it right from the get-go.
The guy's phone is trying to deviate from his brain, still broadcasting live from the front seat of a car, struggling to get that iPhone on the dash while the video feed freezes on his face like a buffering 90s dial-up webcam. You can always tell someone has undeniable national security data when they have to report it from a shaky iPhone propped up in a cup holder next to a half-empty Sprite. But the best part of the video is when his co-host chirps in to validate Mike's credentials, calling him an expert numbers guy who instinctively knows when something is wrong. Whenever anyone tries to brand Mike Lindell as a human calculator, by comedy law, I have to roll these clips.
They will be made unconstitutional. That was A. B, declare the November 2020 election results unreliable and therefore void. Number C, require a new election across the board. A, they probably don't live in the state anymore, obviously. Or B, they really did pass away. Or D,
he isn't a numbers guy. He's a guy who looks at a barcode on a dollar store bag of tortilla chips and thinks it's a secret military coordinate.
He's the perfect fit to, which I'm going to do, create Minnesota DOGE. We're going to make Minnesota great again, and he's going to dig in. Go dig in. Let's get rid of this fraud and get this out of here and put in systems that are absolutely going to be amazing.
He wants to bring DOGE back. The federal version of DOGE was such a spectacular failure that it managed to tank the economy, delete its own social media accounts, and completely vanish into a black hole of administrative incompetence within a month. Naturally, Mike looks at that tire fire and thinks, yes, let's bring that magic to the Midwest. Now, the absolute peak of Trump's entire performance is the staggering, brain-melting hypocrisy of him standing at a podium warning everyone about election database security and voter systems under siege. This is a man who literally issued a federal pardon to Tina Peters, the former county clerk in Colorado, who was convicted of executing the single most high-profile insider security breach of an actual voting system in modern history. Tina Peters didn't just look at public voter rolls. She ordered the security cameras in her office turned off, snuck an unauthorized QAnon-affiliated tech guy into the building, let him copy the entire hard drive of Mesa County's Dominion voting system server, and then posted the proprietary software and passwords online. This isn't a theoretical hack. She literally handed the keys of a real government election system to a random guy she met through Mike Lindell. When his side breaches election systems, it's patriotism. When somebody leaves public voter data exposed, it's a national emergency. I make this independent show on my own. If you love what I do, consider leaving me a tip, become a member for extras, hit up my referral links, and stream my stand-up on Spotify. And if you want to know just how imaginary this entire non-citizen voting crisis really is, we don't have to look at data from liberal think tanks. Just look at the data from the Heritage Foundation, the ultra-conservative organization that literally spends millions of dollars trying to prove that voter fraud is everywhere. The Bipartisan Policy Center did a complete audit of the Heritage Foundation's official nationwide election fraud database from 1999 to 2023. During those 24 years, Americans cast well over 1 billion ballots and only found 77 cases of non-citizens successfully casting a ballot. You are statistically more likely to get struck by lightning while being eaten by a landlocked shark than you are to stand in a voting line next to an undocumented immigrant trying to cast a ballot.
And you know, I saw a tweet yesterday from Olive Garden, of all places, that in order to take advantage of their never-ending pasta pass, you have to show voter ID. And I thought, that's weird. Olive Garden takes pasta pass security more seriously than Democrats are taking election security. So yes, President Trump is going to keep pushing this, and it just shows how absurd the Democrats are that they can't even get behind common sense policies that even, you know, somewhere like Olive Garden can say, hey, we need this for us too.
Yeah, wow. So
you really have to admire the absolute confidence and stupidity it takes to compare the United States voting system to a corporate policy designed to stop people from eating 7 plates of lasagna while the rest of their class sits in the parking lot waiting for their go-it-free food. Let's play their game. Let's look at the actual security threats that are keeping Trump and Abigail up at night. Millions of low-income workers, students, and elderly Americans survive in the informal economy, living with roommates, paying rent in cash, cashing checks at retail stores, and using student IDs that banks and DMVs refuse to recognize. Once you're locked out of the system, breaking back in requires money, legal aid, and bureaucratic miracles. And yes, other countries do require voter identification, but how they do it proves just how rigged the American system is. Canada is the gold standard of a choose-your-own-adventure voting system. You don't need a passport or a driver's license to vote. Elections Canada gives you easy, flexible pass. 3 of them. Option 1, show any government photo ID with your address. 2, show any 2 items from a massive list of dozens of documents. Neither needs a photo and only one needs your address. You can literally use a utility bill, bank statement, a prescription bottle label, maybe even that unlimited pasta card you got from Olive Garden, as long as the name matches your other document. And if you have absolutely nothing, 0 documents, they still don't turn you away. Under option 3, you simply sign a written declaration of your identity and have another voter from your same polling station vouch for you. It is virtually impossible for a Canadian citizen to be denied their right to vote. But when U.S. states pass strict voter ID laws or when Trump demands the passage of the SAVE Act, do they include these common sense safety nets? Absolutely not. In strict red states, expired IDs are instantly rejected, vouching is banned, and free state ID programs require you to first produce expensive, hard-to-get breeder documents like certified birth certificates. And that is the core of the issue. The goal of these American laws isn't to secure the ballot box, it's to make voting a war of attrition. Canada and the UK demonstrated that if you actually want secure elections, you build a system that helps people prove who they are. But Donald Trump doesn't want to solve the problem. He wants to create a barrier high enough that students, low-income workers, and minority voters simply give up and stay home. Voting illegally is a massive crime, and not one that any illegal would risk doing. These people are trying to live right under the radar. They're gonna cast a vote. And we all know the recent cases of actual voter fraud have indeed just been MAGA. Now, I was surprised to see myself with the Queen, especially with all those pearl necklaces in public. Very valuable. Elvis, John Wayne, and Michael Jackson. A box of my favorite films. Honestly, I've never been so concerned about Mike Johnson visiting as when Elaine fired up Seduce and Destroy. I'm also curious as to why Canada has not harnessed the power of Peter North to fight very concerning wildfires. Actually, I quite like that. I like the version with
J.D. Vance, even better. Now, Bobby Brainworm, she stopped by with a snack. Cannot say it was a pick-me-up. It's more of an empty-me-out. Oh, still feeling it. Now, fortunately, Mrs. McChow went all in to reenact my favorite theatrical experience. And even made my ending extra happy with a visit from the Lauren Boebert herself. Am I still here or am I a mannequin? Is this an old photo or a new one? There are a lot of conspiracy theories around. The photo has been confirmed as not containing the AI watermark, but after that visit from Lauren, I'm not sure what's real and what's not. Am I still here?
Buddy, I run Serious Gym, and I'd welcome Kennedy to lift with us in jeans before your pudgy body in shorts any day of the week. I'm guessing you run a Serious Gym. See, when you put the A in there, it doesn't suggest a name, like Serious Gym is the business you're in charge of. Maybe it is. But if you're welcoming someone to work out in jeans, it's probably because your gym is far from serious about leg day, user safety, and protecting your equipment. I'm very fit, and fortunately, I work out at home, so I don't have to deal with Joe Rogan gym bros such as yourself that drew the genetic short straw on brain day. MAGA tears. It's for a declaration of war, a national crisis.
I'm also curious as to why Canada has not attempted to harness the power of Peter North to fight the very concerning wildfires. Just attach that man to a plane and let him rip.
Barcode on a dollar store bag of tortilla. It's been a long day.
The Tommy Campbell Show is the best political comedy show on YouTube, and I hope you subscribe.